We good to go? Right, you need to have a pen, please. Again, try and make the notes that I make. Joe, you ready? Okay. And remember, they need to be clear so you can read them later on. Right, I need some witches. Witches. 3 witches. Anyone like to be a witch? Thea, thank you. You can be witch. First witch. Thank you, Zach. You can be second witch. You want third witch? Thank you, Rasa. You can be third witch. Right, let's go, please. So, Act 1, Scene 3, thunder. So it's always thunder. Now remember, thunder, like happened the other day, is kind of about chaos, right? It's loud, it's noisy, it sounds a bit disturbed. Enter the 3 witches. Got to be loud.
Where has thou been, sister?
Killing swine.
Sister, where thou?
The sailors both his chestnuts in the lap and munch and munch and munch. Give me good fight. Hurry and feed it, the rum fled, running rice. My husband's dead, I look through gone. Master over the tiger. But in a sea, I'll look at the sail, and I'll look like a rat without a tail. I'll do.
Right, so this bit's kind of weird, right? So what this is about is like the witch is causing chaos. So he says, where have you been, sister? He says, killing swine. A swine is a pig, right? So this is the kind of thing they thought witches did. They like murdered animals, right? Okay, where have you been? Oh, so where's she been, right? So she talks to a woman, a sailor's wife, who's got chestnuts in her lap. So a woman's got some chestnuts, and she says, "Oh, can I have a nut?" Right? So the woman's eating chestnuts. Give me a chestnut. And the woman says, "No, go away, witch." So in revenge, she's going to sink her husband's ship. So her husband's to Aleppo. Aleppo is in Syria. And Master of the Tiger is a boat. And he's going to turn the boat into a sieve. What's a sieve? It's got lots of holes in it. So she's going to sink the boat. Why? Because the woman didn't give her a nut. So it's revenge. So the idea is that these women are evil, right? They kill pigs, they get horrible revenge on people, they sink people's boats, right? And like a rat without a tail. So the boat will become like half a boat and it will sink. Second witch?
I'll give thee a wind.
Thou kind.
And I never.
I myself have all the others, and the very corpse they blow. All quarters that they know. I'm a shipman's cart. I will drain and dry and say, sleep shall remain night or day. Hang upon his penthouse lit, he shall live and man forbid. Weary sea nights 9 times shall he dwindle peace and hand. Through his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest tossed. That's what I heard.
Yeah, so they say, well, we'll lend you the wind, so we'll help you create a storm that will sink the ship. What she then says here is that she's gonna, this is kind of strange, but she's gonna go onto the boat and essentially just have sex with the sailor. So she's gonna have sex with the sailors, with the sailor to get revenge on the wife. It says here, I will drain him dry as hay. He sleep shall neither night or day. So she's going to have so much sex with this man that he's going to basically like be completely physically depleted. Again, why is she doing it? Why is she doing this? Revenge. Why is she getting revenge on this woman? Because she didn't give her a nut. Now listen. Here's my advice to you, all of you. If ever you're out in the town, in the street, and a weird old woman says to you, "Can I have one of your nuts?" You say, have all the nuts, right? Have the nuts, because they could be a witch and they might potentially sink your husband's ship, or a version of that which applies to you. But they're supposed to be weird, right? So all this stuff here, all of this, right? Like, weary 7 nights, 9 times 9, shall he dwindle, peak and pine, though his bark, a bark is a boat, by the way, cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest tossed. Tempest tossed is a storm. So they're supposed to be weird. Now, one of the things that Shakespeare does to make them weird is that they actually speak in the opposite way to all the other characters. One second, Alfie. So look, so they speak like this. They call this, now this technique is called, just copy this down, I'll explain it. This is called trochaic tetrameter. Now, most Shakespearean characters speak in iambic pentameter. A trochee is this. Sharp, flat. I myself have all the other, and the very ports they blow. So they speak in the opposite way to all the other characters. We call this a falling rhythm, right? Double, double, toil and trouble, fire, burn and cauldron bubble, in the right? They speak weirdly. Now, if you're at the time and you're watching the play, you don't know this, but you would feel it in how they speak. Now, tetrameter means four of these. Okay? So pentameter means 5. Penta is 5, tetra is 4. So they speak in 8-syllable lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All the other characters speak in 10. So what he does is, when they come into the play, he wants you to think, these are not like regular people. They don't speak like regular people. They do horrible, evil actions. Okay, they are outside the natural world, right? He makes them feel like they're the supernatural. So we're supposed to not have any confusion here, right? These are witches. These are not women, these are witches. They speak weird, they do weird stuff. They walk around killing pigs, right? Give me your nuts. No! I'm going to destroy your husband's life and everything about you. Right, they are forces of destruction. Right, witches, let's go back into this.
Show me.
Look, yeah, look what I have. Yeah?
What did that see?
What?
Under
Storm. A tempest is a storm. It's a sea storm. Yeah. And then she goes, look what I've got. Right? So again, something weird in her hand. And then I guess is what she's got. Well, let's find out. Go on.
Show me.
Yeah, you're like, show me.
Here I have a pilot's thumb, Baptist homework and different.
Well, so a pilot in these days means like the person who sails the ship. So it's a sailor, right? She's got a thumb. A decapitated thumb. Rector's homeward he did come. Boom, 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 boom.
a drum. Macbeth doth come.
Yeah, Macbeth doth come. Boom, 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 boom. Why is there a drum? Because it's the army, it's the war. Right? Now what we learn here is that the things she's saying about this, she's already done it. She has the man's thumb. The pilot she's talking about is this guy here. So she's killed him and taken his thumb as a little memento. Okay? Does that stuff matter? Not hugely, but it's about how weird they are. Okay? Bum, 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 bum. A drum. Macbeth doth come. Right, here we go. So, this is the action. This is the key bit now. Right? Macbeth doth come. You have to do this all together. We can all do this together, if you want to. You ready? The Weird Sisters, hand in hand, posters of the sea and land, thus do go about, thrice to thine and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up 9. Peace! The charm's wound up. Right, now the charm is the spell. They use the word charm a lot, it's a spell. So there's lots of threes that happen. So 3 and 3 and 3 again make up 9. 9 is the circle. There's 9 circles of hell. So 9 is a very sort of like hellish word. In Dante, when he goes into hell, he goes through 9 circles, and each circle has a different type of sinner. It's like the murderers, the gluttoners. Like it's a horrible thing. So the spell is ready. They're ready to do their terrible magic. Right, who wants to be Macbeth? I can do Banquo. Who wants to be Macbeth? Sophie, you want to be Macbeth? Yeah? Go on then, you can have Macbeth. Would anyone else like to be Macbeth? Okay, I'll share it out. So you be Macbeth 1, you be Macbeth 2, and I'll give you Macbeth 3. Okay? I'll move it over later, right? Let's go Macbeth, please.
So foul and fair, they are not seen.
Whoa! That's interesting, isn't it?
It's like a double.
Who says that? The witches, right? So foul and fair a day I have not seen. So he mirrors the witch's words. In the first scene, they say, fair is foul and foul is fair. Fair is foul and foul is fair. So he mirrors their words. Now again, people often get confused by this, get confused by that statement. But what he's talking about is the battle. How foul and fair a day I have not seen. Now, of course, the day is fair because he is victorious, right? He has won the battle. But the day is foul because there is so much death. So he's walking through this battlefield, right? And he sees the bodies everywhere on the battlefield. And he goes, wow, what a weird day. I'm both happy because we've won, but also sad because of the death. So it kind of, now this is Macbeth's first line in the play. So it does show us actually he's not just a monster, right? He does have feelings. He's not a monster who's like, "Way!" Yeah? He's not like beast mode where he's just killed people and he's like, "Way!" He does have like empathy, right? So he does understand that the battle is bad and the people have died. I get it. Banquo's kind of Banquo. So this is Banquo. Now he's kind of a key character. He does die halfway through the play, but he is also a captain in the war. He's not as high ranking as Macbeth. He's not a Thane, but he is somebody who is respected. He's kind of known as being a character of very, very high honour. Some people think that he's Macbeth's friend, and they are kind of friends, I guess, but really they're kind of colleagues in the army. Oh. How far is it called to Forres? What are these? What are these? So withered and wild in their attire. So this is describing the witches. Withered. Great words here, right? Withered, wild. That look not like the inhabitants of the earth. So they are really weird. Okay? So they look like something that is not natural. Okay? Not natural. They look not like the inhabitants of the earth, like aliens, and yet are on it. Live you, or are you aught that man may question? So he says here, right? Are you? In other words, are you even real? Right? Are you real, or am I having a hallucination? That's how weird they look. Are you real? Do you live? Or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me. By each at one, her chappy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women. I like this bit. You should be women, yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so. So again, they look like women, but they have beards. So they are... There you go. They've got beards. They're beardy women, right? That's a bearded woman there. So he's walking along, and he's like, right, how far is it to where we're going? They're walking to the castle. There's one of these things, right? You look like women, but you have beards. You look like you shouldn't really be on the earth, and yet here you are. And then they do this to him. They go, shush, shush, right? Shush. They put their chappy fingers on their lips. Shush. 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 Macbeth?
Speak if you can. What are you?
Yeah, Macbeth is much more authoritative, right? Speak if you can, what are you? So he's much more demanding. Right, you ready for this, witches? This is your prophecies moment. Prophecies. First witch.
Who hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Bran.
All hail,
Yeah, go on.
all hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail Macbeth, thou shalt be king hereafter.
Good. So this is what they say, right? This is the prophecies that they give. That's all they say. They do use this word a lot. Hail, 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 which is a word you use to sort of show your submissiveness to like a king. Right. The first thing they say is this, right? They shall be Thane of Glamis. Now, of course, this is a fact. He is the Thane of Glamis. His father was Thane of Glamis, and now he is Thane of Glamis. Thane of Cawdor. Now this is a fact as well, but it is unknown to Macbeth. That's the key thing about this scene. Okay? All hail Macbeth, who shall, so shout means it will definitely, so it's certain, right? Shall be king hereafter. Now this is one of the key words of this play, because it simply means at some point. At some point. This is what they say to him. And it sparks within him his ambition. He goes, oh my God, I could be the king. Right? King. There's nothing better. There's no better job. So it kind of, I know right here, it sparks ambition. Right? Now he doesn't respond to this, but Banquo does for him. Banquo says, good sir, why do you start? To start means to be almost like shocked. So they speak and Macbeth's like, whoa. Why do you start and seem to fear things that sound so fair? So why do you look so disturbed when someone says good news? Right? It's like me saying to you, oh, for lunch today you can have as much as you want for free. And you're like, ugh! Like, why are you so disturbed by something that sounds so good? In the name of truth, are ye fantastical? Are you made up? Or that indeed which outwardly ye show? My noble partner you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and royal hope, that he seems wrapped with all. So he becomes kind of like lost in his mind. He starts to have these imaginations of what he would become. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time, which is a lovely metaphor, right? The seeds of time, and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favours nor your hate. So Banquo, he wants to know his future. Now notice, Macbeth does not ask the witches for his future. They almost just like spring it on him. And Banquo's like, hold on, you've given him this great prediction, tell me, right? I don't even care what you say, right? I don't care whether you give me favour or hate, right? So if it is good or bad, he's like, I don't care, I want to know. I want to know. Sorry. He's like, I want to know. I don't care whether it's good or bad, tell me my future. Okay? Genuine question for you, right? I'm going to ask you to discuss this. I want you to think about it carefully. If I gave you the choice right now that I could tell you your future, I could tell you right now this is where you will be in 10 years' time. Would you want to know? I'll let you talk about it. Would you want to know?
But even if it's bad or good,
But then it wouldn't be.
Okay.
It would be seeing it through the course.
Out of interest, right? Give me hands up if you would. If I said to you, I can tell you your future, who would want to know? Okay? Hands down. Who wouldn't want to know? Interesting. Hands down. Would anyone want to give me a reason why they would or wouldn't want to know? What's that?
If it's something bad, and then you know that something bad will happen to you in 10 years, you're just going to keep on worrying about it, like, for 10 years, thinking about, oh, what if I do this and then that will happen soon.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? But also there's a thing which is, if I said to you, in 10 years' time you won't be alive anymore, would you be able to change that future? Or would that future happen anyway? Don?
So you're spoiling the surprise. It's like peeking in a book.
It is, yeah. But the problem is that... Go on, Papa. Exactly. The thing I put here, right, should we know the future? My argument would be no, because we're not supposed to know our futures. We're supposed to live in the present. We're supposed to live for now. Now, what's kind of funny is that all of you want to have a good future. So in a way, sometimes you have to do things in your present that you don't necessarily like all the time to give yourself a good future later on, right? Like you might have to eat food that's healthy, that's not particularly nice, because it means you'll be healthy later. But you've got to come to school and learn, even if you don't care what you're learning about, because you want to get a good education and do well later. We're not supposed to know our futures. And this is what the witches do to these two guys. They destroy them as human beings because they give them knowledge that they're not supposed to have. Now for these guys, they would argue the only person that knows your future is God. And human beings are not supposed to play God. Right, good, right. So Banquo says, tell me about my future. And the witches say this. Which one? Here? Hail! Yeah?
Hail.
Hail! Hail!
Lesser than Macbeth and Brutus.
Not so happy yet, much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, your thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Excellent. So they give a kind of riddly answer, right? So, oh, you'll be happier, and yet not as happy. Greater, and yet not as great. Thou shalt get. Now, get means to father, right? To give birth to. So thou will be the father of kings, though thou be none. Though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo. And then what they do, just to classically make it even weirder, is they flip it around. All hail Macbeth and Banquo. Banquo and Macbeth. Right? So they create here a little bit of a rivalry between them. Right? Now imagine if they said to them, oh, you'll both be king. They'd start looking at each other being like, hang on a sec. Right? But Macbeth starts to look at Banquo and he goes, okay, so I'm going to be king, but your children will be kings. So how's that going to go down? Are your kids going to kill me and take my throne? Are your kids going to kill my kids and take their throne? Right? It makes him, it starts to make Macbeth paranoid. Really early on. Okay? Macbeth. Michael, you can be Macbeth. This is Macbeth 2.
Daily and perfect equal. Tell me more. By sinner's death, I know I am famous.
Good way. So Sinel is his dad. Sinel is his father. He says, because my father is dead, I know I am Thane of Glamis. Carry on, please.
Well, how was Cordial? The Thane of Cordial lived. A prophet for his gentleman, and his king, that not the thing that suspect of the
Yeah.
no more than to be Cordial, take him when he owed his king the senate. For why from his lovely from our way with such separate people.
Yeah. So he has lots of questions. He says to them, "Wait, I don't get it. How can I be Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, and to be king is impossible. Why have you come to us now and told us these things? Right? Why me? Why now? Why this?" And they go, "Boop," and they vanish. So they kind of leave. They leave him. They leave him with questions. Right? He knows what he's going to be, but he doesn't know how he gets to be there. The earth hath bubbles, as the water has, and these are of them. Whither they are vanished. So he says the witches are like bubbles. They're here, and then they're gone. He's like, wow, that was really weird. What a weird thing to happen. Macbeth.
Into the earth, and what seems caught with motion, and into the wind.
Yeah, corporal means physical. So he goes, wow, they seem so real, and now they've gone, they've melted into the air. What such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner. So they're starting to question if real. And he goes, have we eaten like magic mushrooms or drugs? Have we like nibbled on some weird poisonous root and we're having hallucinations? Macbeth. And you shall be king.
And then it pulls your teeth when
To the self-same tune and words. So they kind of, in a way, they kind of joke it off, right? They go, huh, that was weird, right? You're going to be king, and your kids will be king, and Cawdor. And then Ross comes along, and Ross says, you're the Thane of Cawdor. And he goes, bloody hell. Wow, right? So enter Ross and Angus. I'll do Ross. He's not that interesting. He's more of exposition. The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. So the news of your success in the war, and when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend, which should be thine or his. So there's an idea here that it's about the celebration of Macbeth. The king has found out about Macbeth's heroism, and he says, you are remarkable. Silence with that, viewing over the rest of the selfsame day, he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks. Nothing afeard of what thyself did make, strange images of death. As thick as hail came post to post, and every one did bear thy praises in his kingdom. It's great defence, and poured them down before him. So everyone is saying that he's a hero, right? Every report from the war is coming back and saying Macbeth is a hero. We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee. And for an earnest of greater honour, he bade me, from him, call thee Thane of Cawdor. In which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine. So they reward him. But of course, what he thinks is, it's the prophecy, right? The witches were real, and the prophecy is true, right? It's true. What? Can the devil speak true? So even Banquo is like, whoa. Whoa. Who's my third Macbeth? Who wants Macbeth 3? Marlo, thank you. Macbeth 3. Then I'll have a female Macbeth.
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in lurid robes?
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose, right? Under heavy judgment bears the life that he deserves to lose. Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebel with hidden help and vantage, or that with both, he laboured in his country's wreck. So he's a traitor. Says we don't know what he did, but he did something bad. I know not, but treason's capital. So the crime, the punishment for treason is death. Confessed and proved have overthrown him. So Macbeth's like, wait a minute, the Thane of Cawdor is alright, isn't he? No, he's not, he's a traitor.
Lannis and Thane of Cawdor, the greatest is behind.
Yeah, the greatest is behind. Now what he means by that, weirdly, is he's talking about being the king. He goes, oh my god, step one, Glamis, has come true. He kind of forgets that that was never a prophecy. He's like, oh, I'm Glamis, and I'm Cawdor. The greatest is behind me, right? In other words, like on my back, ready. Page, please.
Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope your children shall be kings, and those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me, and listen no less to them?
That trusted home might yet enkindle you to the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But, I like this bit here, Banquo's a lot smarter than Macbeth. Macbeth is like, oh, I'm going to be king. Banquo's like, wait a minute, right? It's strange. And oftentimes, to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths. And the instrument of darkness is the devil. So sometimes the devil gives us a little bit of truth, and we use it to bring ourselves down. Win us with honest trifles, to betray the deepest consequences. So he's much more wary. He's much more like, well, be careful, because they are witches, and witches are evil, And why would a witch give you good news, right? Why? Because they're devil. They're for the devil. Why would they give you the good news? But Macbeth doesn't think like that. He's just like, oh my god, right? Macbeth 4. Do you want Macbeth? Female Macbeth. Okay, you ready? Yeah. So when you have the word aside, what it means is in his mind, right? So this bit here, he talks to the others. So this is what he's thinking. Now, in the first part of the play, he does a lot of thinking. He's like, shall I? Shall I not? What shall I do? What shall I do? What shall I do? But by the end of the play, he stops. So this is what he's thinking about, right? He says, 2 truths are told. Now, of course, he's talking about Glamis and Cawdor. 2 truths are told. The prologue to the swelling act of the imperial theme. Now, imperial means royal. Swelling is almost a bit like sort of like a pregnancy. So the first 2 things are prologues. They're like the story before the big story. He's like, I'm going to be king. I'm on my way. Thank you, gentlemen. Then he goes back into his brain again. Okay, go on. Good, right, this is a great bit of speech. I'll take you through it because it's a little complicated. So, he starts to think, right? He says this supernatural soliciting. So, supernatural soliciting, he's talking about the witch's words. It cannot be ill, it cannot be good. So, ill means bad. So, it cannot be bad and it cannot be good. So, we've got more doubling here, right? He says it cannot be ill, cannot be good. If it's bad, if it's ill, so if their advice is bad advice, why is it giving me success? I am the Thane of Cawdor. So he says, if the advice is evil or bad advice, how come I'm doing so well out of it? I am the Thane of Cawdor. If the advice is good, why do I yield to that suggestion, whose horrid image doth unfix my hair, and make my seated heart knock at my ribs? So, if it's good, why am I having these thoughts? Now, the thoughts he's having here is he's having bloody thoughts. He says, my heart is beating fast. It's knocking at my ribs. My hair is like standing on end. Why am I having these thoughts, these terrible thoughts? Now, what he's probably thinking about is killing the king. Against the use of nature. He says the thoughts are unnatural. Remember, the king is there by God, right? So the idea of killing a king is an ungodly thought. He's like, why am I having these evil thoughts? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. So the present fear, of course, is the war. The horrible imaginings is his brain. So there's a lot in this play about mental health. He says it is way better to be at war than to be haunted by my mind, the horrible imaginings of my mind. My thought, whose murder is yet fantastical, so fantastical means like fantasy, shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise. So he's lost in his mind. So function is action, surmise is thought. I love this line. This is my favourite lines in the play because it's really, really smart, right? He says, I had to help my cousin with this when he did GCSEs last year, and he never got this line. It drove me mad, right? Nothing is but what is not. Nothing is but what is not. What is not is imagination. So the only thing he can think about is his imagination. Nothing is but what is not. So he is obsessed. He's obsessed with desire and ambition, right? Nothing matters apart from that which is not, that which is in his brain. Look how our partner's wrapped. Excellent. So this is what he decides to do, right? So he decides, he says, if chance is fate, he says, I became Thane of Cawdor without doing anything. So if chance will have me king, chance may crown me without my stir. So he's going to wait. He's going to wait and see what happens. New horrors come upon him, like our strange garments, cleave not to their mould, but with the aid of use. Yeah, so time. I like this. I like as well. So time in the hour runs through the roughest day. So this idea about fate. So things will happen as they happen. Even on bad days, things carry on. Worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure. Yeah, so he says to Banquo here, he says, let's talk about this later, okay? Let us speak our free hearts to each other. So he says, they'll talk later. But here he tells a lie. He tells a lie. He says, sorry, I was busy thinking about the past. And he ain't. He's thinking about the future. So he lies to them, and he says, Banquo, let's talk about this later, when we can talk about it in private. Very gladly. Till then, enough. Come, friend.